Hello all, my name is Dr. Achila Amarasinghe. Welcome to the first episode of a series of episodes I'm going to bring to you about academic supports for our students. So in our first episode, we're going to discuss about how to start with online resources and how to use your university e-library related resources. Before you go to online resources, we'll discuss what's the importance of finding out more about these resources, why we should use online resources as students. This is both important for both postgraduate and undergraduate students. So one of the main reasons that you need to use online resources is linked with your subject matter understanding. So more resources that you read, more information that you get, more information that you have, you can increase your subject knowledge as the obvious thing. And also when you write your assignments, as academics, as your lecturers, we will know you have done in-depth research or not by looking at your references, by looking at your citations. And most of the academic work has limited amount of citations are the work that not being researched well. That means you will not able to score much marks if you are using less resources. It also linked with the academic quality of your work. More resources, more up-to-date resources that you use, the quality of your academic work going to be obviously increased. And also, we like to see students using different viewpoints. More viewpoints that students use, the arguments going to be much more critical. Much more critical arguments if you give for your assignments, it increase your quality of the work. More quality of the work increase, more marks you will be able to get. Now let's look at an example. Now this example is about how sleep is important for humans. Now it's a short paragraph, but in this paragraph you can see three resources. One is from very recent source, and other two resources supplements these arguments. So you can see even in a short paragraph you can support or oppose by giving multiple different sources, multiple different viewpoints. Now, these resources can come in multiple different formats. Some come as ebooks. It's quite similar to your books, but it's in electronic formats. And it can come as e-journals and articles. All these ebooks, journals, or articles you can find in different libraries. Now, bear in mind, depends on your school, depends on the subjects that you're studying, these databases can vary. Some databases can link with business schools. Some databases can link with medical schools, or likewise, there are different databases for different types of journals. One of the best way to find out this information is if you're able to go through your university e-library. Now, every university, most of the universities actually have two types of libraries. One is the physical library and other one is the electronic library. Now, most of the well-known universities manage their electronic libraries based on your university, based on the subscriptions that university have, they might be attached to different databases. So based on your university, the access to these databases can vary. For example, this is Newcastle University e-library. So I'll show you after a while, I'll go to the e-library and show you how easy it is to use these libraries. And there's a major advantage that you can get by using e-library resources from the university. One of the main advantage is to sort of save money. Now, this is a situation I went away from the e-library. I went away from Newcastle e-library and searched a country profile in Euromonitor alone. And when I searched without university credentials, what I got was £150 worth article. And it's quite expensive. And these articles can be go up to $900 sometimes. But when I use Newcastle Access credentials, I downloaded this article for free. So that means I literally saved around £900. So I understand there are many students who will not able to access these articles without university access. So if your library, if your university got these kind of e-resources, e-platform, e-library platform, please do use it, because it will save you huge amount of money. I'll show you how easy it to use e-libraries by going to Newcastle University Library. Now bear in mind there will be different types of platforms based on your university, but they all can look quite similar. You will have a search engine bar, and all you need to do is type out whatever the resources that you like to search. For example, if we search destination profile for a business environment assignment, for example, you can easily type whatever the keywords that you wish to search, and you can search it, and you will get multiple different entries. Some entries can be journals, some entries can be books, but remember, these are all for free. You can download most of these things for free. Sometimes you can loan some books for free. So please, if you have access to a university library, make sure to use it. That's the best way. You don't need any other source but the university library to get everything in your research done. Of course, I do understand not everyone have the privilege to be in a university or be in a university that has access to multiple different journals. For example, not every university may have access to Euromonitor journal. But not to worry, if you do not have access to a university library, if you're not a student or if you're not an academic who's attached to a university library, there are many free resources, there are many free databases that you can find online that you can dig up these credible resources. Now, the first place I would recommend to you is Google Scholar. Now, Google Scholar is a very good website that it's a search engine effectively. You can search authors or articles, and I will show you the Google Scholar, and it's quite straightforward search. All you need to do is type Google Scholar in your search engine, and it's usually the first result that you get. So you can search by a author's name, or you can directly search the content that you need to be researched. So let's search Professor Nigel Morgan, one of the best professors in marketing. So if you type a name of author, it provides you with the reference entries and the articles that this particular author has submitted. And also you can find out how many people have sort of cited this particular author. Look at this one, it's more than 15,000 people have cited. So that means this author's work can be highly credited. So they are very credible source. And also you can see the books, or else what you can do is you can directly write down a topic of your choice. Say branding, for example, branding theory, for example, and then Google Scholar will give you all the search entry results related to branding theory, all the scholarly articles related to branding theory. Now, of course, these books are free to view, but sometimes some pages might not be visible because they want you to buy these books. But still, it's a good place to start your research. Still, you can read these books and reference these articles. And the second place that I recommend to you is Google Advanced Search. Now, Google Advanced Search is an advanced version of normal Google search. There are few benefits that you can get from Google Advanced Search. Again, if you're searching Google Advanced Search, just go to your just go to your search engine and just type Google Advanced Search. The first search engine result is Google Advanced Search. So click on it and I'll guide you through how to do a search in Google Advanced Search. So like in normal search, you can type whatever the content, whatever the um, articles that you wish to search. Let's try country profile. Country profile UK. Okay. Now there are a few tricks that you need to understand in Google Advanced Search. You will able to filter these results much more better way. So one thing that you can do is you can forget about these things, and then you can go to this narrowing down the results, and you can search articles in a specific language if you wish to. You can search articles in a specific region. For example, if you need articles published in only in European region, you can search it in you can sort of filter it out in this area. And then there's another option called last updated. Now remember, this is not the publication date, but it's rather last updated date. That means when is the article being released to the Google. So you can edit it from 24 hours to 1 year. That will bring up new search results. And one of the most important section in this place is the file type. Now remember, when I do research, I usually select PDFs. Now you need to understand what is a PDF. Usually PDFs being used by organizations to sort of not to let other people to edit their work. So if an organization release a PDF, usually other people cannot amend those PDFs. And because of that feature, most of the organizations tend to release their professional documents via PDFs. So we sort of exploit this option and then try to search PDFs linked with the destination profile. Let's search it and see what kind of outputs we get. Now, as soon as you search, you will see all these results are PDFs. So you'll only get PDF formats. And first search result is from United Nations, which is a credible source which you can reference. And then you have many different resources that you can download, many different sources that you can use. Now this one is from WHO, again another credible source that you can reference. Now, if you go to this one, it's in 2002, but yes, it is a bit outdated, but still it's a good place to read and understand about United Kingdom's country profile. Plus it's produced by a more authentic organization, so you can read and try to understand. However, if you require much more up-to-date information, then you will have to do another search and bring up much more latest versions of these documents. And another search result which put me into World Health Organization's destination profiles that they have produced. Again, it is also in 2013, relatively old sources, but still can be used for your references purposes. If you mix them up with much more later sources, you can use these things. Now the next place I'm going to recommend is the Directory of Open Access Journal, which is a very good place to find out much more up-to-date information, much more up-to-date data for your research. Let's go to the Open Access Journal. It's called Directory of Open Access. It's very easy. Again, just search Directory of Open Access Journal in your Google or in your search engine. The first search result that you get is the Directory of Open Access Journal. And you can search anything here. You can search any topic and you will get many free open access journals from this particular search engine. Let's search destination branding And if you search it, you'll have many full text journals, which is citable. Now this one is a quite new entry. Let's have a look. And it's about Indonesian tourism. So you will get your hands into much more up-to-date information from here. And there are many other places that you can find many journal articles for free. And beauty of this thing is you will able to reference these things because they're all open access, and you might have to play around in here and find out where to find the full article over here, because it will take you to different kind of locations, and depends on different kind of journals. You need to figure out way around these downloading options. Now look at this one, is PDF that as soon as you click on it, you will get the full article, which is referenceable. It's a 2014 article, but still you'll find multiple reference entries. So that's a very good place to do your research. And the next one is called Co. That's another place that you can do your research, but I do recommend Directory of Open Access Journal much more better than Co, because Co can give you different kind of articles which might not be credible. So you need to do a bit of a more research in this website. It's Co website. Let's say if you search branding and marketing, you may get some inputs published by authors which is not very credible. So be careful when you download articles from here. First search the author's name in Google Scholar and then figure out is the author is actually credible person. And there are different reports published over here. It's a marketable branding in political marketing, you can see it. And now this is a good journal, so see, you get lots of free resources over here. But again, I'm advising you, be careful when you search in Co, because not every resource that you find in Co might be useful as a reference entry. Now, as we learned what are the resources that we can use, we also need to understand what are the things as a student we need to avoid when we research in online platforms. Because it can be a recipe for disaster if you use low credible sources, which is hard to validate. So first of all, you need to question the credibility of your sources. The first thing that you need to do is question its author. Find out whether author has published many resources. Find out how many citations are attached to that author. It's obvious, isn't it? If an author has multiple different citations, if people are citing one author, if you have lots of citations, that means that author's work is highly credible. It can be credible. So you can use that as a sort of a parameter to understand whether to use a resource or not. And then think about the publication date. If the publication date is not recent, then you need to question it, because sometimes, of course, you can use olden publications like 80 years old publication to make a point, but you can't have 1980s reference entries throughout your assignment, because those references can be quite outdated in 2020. So you need to be very careful. If you're using reference entries from, let's say, in 1980s, you may have to have a very valid point or purpose. The intention matters a lot. If you're talking about a theory which originated in 1980s, of course you reference it, but you have to bring up the latest development of that theory by citing current resources. And also remember your audience. There are multiple different journals, there are multiple different databases produce documents based on different audience. Yes, you can do cross-discipline research and use those resources, but sometimes if you're in business school and if you're referencing something from medical school, you need to really think about it. You need to find out, is this really relevant for my work or not? So always question the credibility and always question, is it really valid for my audience? Bad eggs make terrible omelets. That's true. It all depends on the resources that you're using for your assignments. You will get higher marks or not. So please try to avoid personal blogs and accounts because the credibility is at question if you're using personal blogs or accounts. But by saying so, there are some exemptions. If the blogger or the article author is a credible source, then of course you can use it. For example, I figured out there's an article in Tesla blog by Elon Musk. So if Elon Musk himself writing this blog about his organization, that blog can be used as a credible citation. And also contributors' websites. You may ask, what is a contributor's website? Contributor website is a website which can be a newspaper website or a magazine like Forbes or Marketing Week. Now, most of these websites provide you with very good resources, very good information. But remember, when you bring some article from a contributor website, you always need to verify that content of this article. You need to find out whether the author is actually telling the truth. So what you can do, you do a cross-reference in another source and find out the information credibility of that originated source. And if the information tallies out with the, let's say, for Forbes website and another source, then you can reference both websites or both articles to increase your credibility. Wikipedia. I'm pretty sure you all know that it's a big no-no from academics. There's a reason that we always say, do not use Wikipedia. The reason is the Wikipedia can be altered and amended by any person. Anyone who has an idea can log into existing article and change the article. However, what you can do is go to Wikipedia as a starting point. Get the information as I mentioned previously. You go to their reference list and try to find out the article's credibility and cross-check those articles which is given in Wikipedia against the articles outside internet sources, which I provided you, the databases I have given you. Go to those databases and check the credibility of that article. However, you need to be careful. Do not reference Wikipedia. But instead of referencing Wikipedia, you can reference other articles.